Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. This is the Jerry Bishop's live show. We're here at Bravery Studios, and we are happy to be here. We got some great guests this week, awesome guests this week. I have one sitting right beside me. His name is Mr. Vernon Pullins. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we're happy to have him here. For those of you who don't know, the Jerry Bishop's live show was basically a sports podcast. And due to the events that went on in the community a couple of weeks ago, we decided to do a show that focused on that and focused on a lot of the positive things that were going on in the community. We just want to control the narrative of everything that's being said about brothers and sisters in the community and promote positivity. And one of the things that I wanted to do was bring my brother in. He's running for 3rd Ward City Council.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So, first of all, welcome to the show.
It's my pleasure, and I'm excited to be here, and I thank you for the opportunity to, speak with you and your audience, your viewers and your listeners, and this is an exciting opportunity, and I'm just looking forward to it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I want to thank you for coming. I know the schedule is crazy because I know you're doing walking tours and speaking engagements and all types of stuff.
Absolutely.
So, you want to shout out anybody before we get started?
Absolutely. First, I want to shout out to my lovely wife Rana and my children, Brittany, Vernon, and Tamara. Shout out to the East Orange Democratic Party. Shout out to my colleagues that are here. My campaign manager, Muzamil Muhammad Stevens. Campaign worker and frontline young man Justin Brown, Councilman Bergson, Leneus, who's here with us tonight, Councilman Christopher Arway, and the mighty Fifth is going to be well represented by our good brother. We need to return him back, ladies and gentlemen of the 5th Ward, the councilman who hails from the mighty 5th, Councilman Mustafa Brent.
Yes,
so it's exciting to be here with you, Bishop. The energy, the vibe. I'm just looking forward to speaking with you and speaking with your listeners and having that energy continue.
Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let me tell you something. It's a long story in regards to, like, everybody knows my government name is Jerome Lane. My middle name is Bishop, right? So I use Jerry Bishops. So, but everybody from like my mother and father, like from the 80s, called me Bishop. So when he called me Bishop, I was like, whoa, my brother. Make me feel at home.
Well, listen,
yes, sir.
When you began to, reminisce about, Vernon L. Davey Jr. High School, a.k.a. VLD, and Washington Street School, I could begin to, unloosen the tie and loosen the jacket and know that I'm home with family. So it's all good. I can also get corporate and, Mr. Bishop, Jerry, and, we can do that too.
We're going to keep it loose. You home. You home. So we're going to jump into these questions.
Yes, sir.
All right. So first question, please share some background information as to what made you decide to pursue a position in local politics.
To much that is given, much is expected. East Orange has, the city of East Orange has given a lot to me. From education, community service, I'm an East Orange High School graduate, class of 1990, shout out.
Okay.
I went on to pursue my undergraduate degree from Rutgers University. Thereon, I went on and pursued a law degree from Rutgers School of Law, and I also hold a master's in educational leadership.
Okay.
And throughout my pursuit in education and community service, I thought that it'd be important to not only just gain awareness, gain experience, and know-how, but also come back home and turnkey that to the residents who have given me so much and supported me. You know, when you're away at college, you can always pull back and reach out to those coaches. In this campaign process, we've built a movement with regards to residents who live in the town. A little, as it's known, but a lot of people don't know. If you are a true member of the East Orange High School class of 1990, and the True Panther. My campaign manager, actually, Muzamil Muhammad Stevens, is my former coach.
Really?
So you know, we really, when we label things homegrown,
yes,
you know,
sir.
we really try to identify homegrown things and values. You know, so those values from a coaching standpoint that they instilled in me, you know, have, you know, helped me instill values into my children and into my relationship with my lovely wife.
Right.
And just basically look at what good government, you know, what the expectation should be. And I just decided, you know what, if given the opportunity to serve, you know, I would, you know, try to do it with distinction, and, you know, having the opportunity to, you know, intern early on in my career under the tutelage of our current party chair, both at the county and East Orange level, Dr. Leroy J. Jones Jr.,
Okay.
you know, intern, you know, under his tutelage, gaining vast experience and knowledge and know-how, and, you know, what to, you know, look forward as it pertains to, you know, policy. As a early young man working in the Department of Policy Planning and Development, being charged with the research capabilities to work on sister city relationships with Ghana, Accra.
Okay.
You know, so that all, you know, piqued interest, and I looked at how, you know, public-private partnerships could be developed from those aspects.
Okay.
And then trying to marry that public relationship with, you know, what I learned in school, you know, piqued the interest. And I said, you know, if given the opportunity to serve, I'll try to do it well.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, speaking of school, was there anyone that in particular motivated you to just like seek the higher education, you know, after undergrad, going to, you know, master's level, then going to law school?
Oh, yes.
In particular?
You know, you know, the beautiful thing about the city of East Orange is the character in which it entails. You know, from Washington School, where you and I attended, you know, we had, you know, the teacher that stands out the most to me, because she never gave up on, you know, me or our class, was Miss Diamond, who's also known now as Miss Schultz. She's a principal in East Orange Public Schools right now. When we move over to the high school, you know, we have Mr. Pack, we have Miss Goldberg, you know, we have, you know, God bless his soul, Mr. Hinton. Both Hintons, you know, instilled those core values and belief systems, and making sure that we were responsible young men to our community.
Yes, sir.
And then when you move over to the high school, you know, one gentleman who, you know, was not in the traditional role of instruction, but was on the front line of, you know, student engagement, and that was no one other than, you know, Mr. Cliff Harris, who was a security guard. But let me tell you something. Security guards, custodians, lunch aides are valuable members of our community, because they can gauge how you feel on a daily basis. They can give you that words of wisdom to say, hey, young man, you need to keep going. And, you know, the one thing that stands out with me with Mr. You know, Harris is, you know, I had fallen short on a class my freshman year, and, you know, you had to go to summer school. And, you know, I said to Mr. Harris, Mr. Harris, you know what, this is a very, very unfortunate experience, and I will never do this again. And, you know, he talked me through that whole summer experience about, you know, what it means to actually, you know, be a, you know, a student, a serious student. You know, I toyed around with wrestling, and, you know, in my latter part of high school, I, you know, had the privilege to play under, you know, fantastic coaches, and played football. You know, I was the center during my, you know, senior year of high school. And, you know, Coach West, another individual that, you know, instilled those things in you. You know, so the teammates also, you know, brought value, you know, to the growth of character. So, I mean, you know, it was a fundamental experience that, you know, I cherish to this day.
Awesome. Don't you love football?
Oh, yeah.
You know, the tightness, the camaraderie. You know, I'm sure you're still friends with some of the guys you played with today, right?
Absolutely. You know, actually, you know, being a center and you know, my QB, Big shout out to Captain Larry Martin of the East Orange Police Department. He was the quarterback at the time.
Okay.
And we still keep in contact. I actually our daughters at one point went to the same school. We continue to keep in contact with each other, support each other. I see a lot of the residents that still live in the area. I often run into our running back who was Shamil Simpkins. He's outstanding athlete. Did some great things. Our pulling guard Leroy Cooper, who lives in North Carolina right now.
Okay.
Another class of 1990. Then you have Rich Williams, who's a Montclair State police officer.
Really?
Yeah. So a lot of our student athletes went on to do some really great things.
Y'all had some good mentors.
Oh yeah,
good mentors and good coaches.
Yes, sir.
So another question is, if elected, what do you feel like would be one of the first items on your agenda that you'd like to tackle?
Well, one of the things that I don't want to do is to get ahead of myself.
Right.
I want to basically find out fundamentally where the council is as a body.
Good.
And, work with the group collectively, because it's not an I, it's a we. The council, has demonstrated that they've put together responsible legislation to move the city forward, working collaboratively with the mayor. I would like to certainly, have an opportunity to collaborate with my colleagues, if elected, Bergson, Leneus, to assess and evaluate what needs to be transformed within our Third Ward community. And also speaking and engaging with the residents.
Yes.
I think that's extremely important. The three fundamental roles, dealing with the council, legislation, appropriation, and investigation,
Right.
And outside of that is, developing the community partnerships, seeing how we can put together a legislative package which allows the mayor to go out and, score with regards to bringing businesses to the city of East Orange.
Right. So with that said, I want you to speak a little bit more about your experience and how you feel that it's definitely going to prepare you for this role if elected to city council.
Sure. Yes, sir. From an experience standpoint, I had the distinct pleasure of, serving as the president of the East Orange Board of Education, which at that time when I served was a over $190 million organization. 22 facilities at the time, largest employee unions, and making sure that, we presented responsible budgets to the school board as well as to the state.
Okay.
Serving on the school board of estimates to work collectively with the mayor at the time and the city council president to ensure that we didn't raise the taxes for residents. Looking at how we sat down and negotiated with the unions to make sure we fostered a collaborative relationship, getting to yes, but making sure we took certain steps that were not impactful to student performance and student achievement and student services.
Okay.
As vice president of the East Orange Water Commission, formerly, I had the distinct pleasure to working with 5 outstanding individuals, which we took the revenue generating organization from red to black during a time in which it was going through a little bit of a turmoil with some unfortunate interlocal agreements that were not negotiated in the best interest of the city.
Okay.
We right-sized that process. We streamlined services to where, we didn't have to do a reduction in force, but we had to do an increase in services and an increase in quality services. And, so I think we, under the leadership of the executive directors that we had at the time, we managed to, develop processes which made the organization, revenue generating in the positive.
Great. Okay. All right. What do you feel in your heart makes East Orange special from other municipalities?
It's people. It's location. It's people. It's culture. If if you have ever gone to a Thanksgiving home game and you want to really see the fabric and the culture of East Orange,
right?
It is one of the best places to go to see what East Orange is really about.
Yes.
And that's whether you went to East Orange High School or the former East Orange High School or former Clifford J. Scott.
Right.
You know, the residents of East Orange are, you know, beautiful people. They are welcoming people. And, you know, under the current, you know, leadership and the current council leadership, you know, we're very embracive. And I would say it's, you know, the New Jersey City of Brotherly Love. You know, and I think that, you know, we really strive to see how we can develop partnerships to promote excellence.
Awesome. One more question.
Yes, sir.
Kind of a personal question. What does it mean to you to be a husband and father?
Oh, wow. I had the, you know, the distinct pleasure of meeting my wife in college. And, you know, having had a father, you know, my father was my superhero. And, you know, unfortunately, you know, my superhero basically went on to the next chapter. And so I tried to make sure that, you know, taking the values and the beliefs that he instilled in me and my sisters, that I would try to live up to that. And to be a father, it's to me, it's the it's sweet, it's loving, and you know, I cherish it closely to my heart. You know, I've been married to my wife for 20 years.
Congrats.
Thank you. I knew her for 5 years prior to, and you know, it's, you know, I love my children. You know, Brittany, Vernon, and Tamara. Awesome. You know, it's you know, fatherhood is beautiful. It's awesome. You know, when you asked earlier what makes East Orange so distinct. You know, and its value system. We have a mother-son dance, a father-daughter dance. I had the distinct pleasure of taking my daughters last year to the dance. Councilman Leneus was with his daughter at the dance. And you know, we had a phenomenal time. We had a dance off. And I think that when you can look into your daughter's eyes and see that smile, that means a lot. You know, it's you know, and you know, they feel safe, they feel loved. You know, when you have that, you know, stern talk with both daughters and, you know, your son, you know, it's promoting that character and that will to let them know that, hey, you can achieve to be whatever you want. You know, I try not to sway my children into taking the path that I took. What I tried to do with working with, you know, along with my wife, because I give her all of the credit with regards to, you know, our development of our children. Because while I was out basically working on the degrees that I shared with you earlier and building that resume to sit here with you in this distinct role to talk about what I'd like to do if, you know, humbly elected. She rolled up her sleeves and made sure that they were educated, are continuing to be educated. And, you know, one of the things that we preferenced from the fatherhood standpoint is that, you know, in my role as a Board of Education member, I defer to my wife. So there is no, you know, conception of my influence in the process. You know, so, you know, I try to make sure that, you know, our kids definitely are treated, you know, equally with the students in the district, you know, not given any special, you know, preference or treatment to that matter. And, you know, so, you know, in that father role, I'm just looking to try to balance time and, you know, continue to show them that I love them.
Amen. My brother. Listen, it's an honor to have you in.
Listen, it's, you know, it's my honor to be here with you, and whenever you know, will, you know, let me come back, I'll be more than happy to.
Well, we definitely appreciate it. We're going to have you back. You got my vote.
I appreciate that.
let me say that. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, we don't endorse her. Listen, it's Jerry Bishop's live. I'm voting for my man.
I appreciate that.
You know
Bishop.
what I mean? I love what you stand for. I love that you're a family man. I love that you're homegrown. You know, and God bless you. And may He keep you and your family, brother.
Thank you, Bishop. I appreciate that. And
yes, sir.
You know, it's truly been an awesome opportunity to be here with you. And like I said, I'd love to come back. You know, and for your listeners that reside in the great city of East Orange, and particularly in the 3rd Ward, this is your candidate, Vernon Pullins Jr., and I am humbly asking for your support on June 4th. Vote line A all the way. We have an outstanding ticket, and yours truly is leading the ticket in the 3rd Ward. And look forward to getting that support. If I could just do one commercial plug, Bishop,
absolutely,
I'd appreciate it.
Absolutely.
On this Thursday, April 18th, we are having a fundraiser at Miss G's in East Orange on Central Avenue.
Okay.
Homegrown. We are going to be celebrating some homegrown individuals. Naughty by Nature. Raheem Plummer. Rich XG. So these are individuals that I had an opportunity to grow up with, interface with, and throughout our campaign, we have thrown fundraisers to not collect and be about us, but
right.
We have we've adopted the charge that my good brother Mustafa Brent and my good brother Bergson Leneus giving back to people.
Yes.
So at all of our events, we look to honor people. We look at how Chris Alway as a young, vibrant leader in the 2nd Ward is doing some awesome things. He's working hard to have his partner Brittany Claybrook elected in the 2nd Ward. The chairman put together a package second to none. Being led by our good sister Brittany Timberlake at the assembly level, Amy Lewis in the 1st Ward,
right?
In the 2nd Ward, Brittany Claybrook. 3rd Ward, yours truly. 4th Ward, we have Kasim Gomez and Tamika Garrett Ward, and in the 5th, we're gonna bring it home, for our good brother Mustafa Brent.
Yes, sir.
And we're going to look forward to supporting our mayor, the Honorable Ted R. Green, to make sure that the Green team in 19 is successful. Amen. And I thank you, Bishop. I appreciate you. Love you, brother.
Love you too, brother. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Listen, we're gonna go into break. We want to thank our brother for coming in. We might have him back with the other gentlemen that are here, the other council members. This is Bravery Studios here in Clifton, and this is Jerry Bishop's Live. We'll be right back. Brother, like that picture. Look at that picture.
That's a good one.
Yes, sir.
Bishop, if you're not on the air, Thursday, man, come.
I will come
on me.
Not on the air.
Come through. We're clear? Oh, okay.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It's practice. Practice.
Hey, man, and my apologies. 77. That's what it was.
Professional stuff right there. All right. Thank you all for your patience. This is the Jerry Bishop's live show. We have more guests in the building from the great city of East Orange. From the great city of East Orange. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. We're going to keep this atmosphere really loose because the questions and comments are going to be coming in. We'll start with Brother Mustafa.
Good afternoon or good evening, Brother Jerry. Good evening, listeners, and those that are tuning in from the great city of East Orange. It's your Councilman Mustafa Brent coming to you live from Clifton by way of 5th Ward, East Orange, New Jersey.
Yes, sir. Brother Leneus.
Hello, Reverie Studios audience, Jersey Fresh TV, Jerry Bishop's live. Welcome. My name is Bergson, Leneus, councilman from the 3rd Ward, the great city of East Orange. I also want to say hello to my children that should be home sleeping and the entire internet, IG, Facebook, everybody who's out there watching. So God bless.
All right. Councilman Hall.
These fellas put on their radio voice. So. Good evening, family. I'm Christopher Alway, councilman in the 2nd Ward. Honored to be here with these distinguished gentlemen.
Awesome. So listen, before we get this jumping off, I want to give a big salute to Mr. Pullins because he's a great man, and yes, we're looking forward to showing him giving him that support he needs to take it to the next level. All right. So let's get this started. Brother Mustafa, council member, sir.
Yes, sir.
Could you share some background information as to what made you decide to pursue a position in politics?
The short end of it was the inspiration of my parents, who always taught us to serve. One of their mantras was, your greatest accomplishments or failure is going to come through the service of others. So serve well, serve responsibly. The long end of it, I was at the firehouse one day. A fire came in and I got burnt. That's just the God's honest truth. And as I was in the fire, and my life literally flashed before my eyes, at the end of that, I saw my father's face. And I often tell my children the stories, and and I heard him echoing that mantra. And then as I sat trying to do, my emergency response to a very serious situation, I said to myself, I said, goodness gracious, what are they going to say about you if you die now? Good father, good husband, he was an okay dude, he was a friend, whatever. And I decided, I said, I have to give more to the people who God has blessed to come into my responsibility or come into my path. And so after that, my wife and I sat down and made a conscious decision to move to a city that we felt would be one of the culturally diverse and strong cities to raise our family. We moved our children to East Orange, which is a sister city in the city in which I grew up, Newark. And when we moved there, we just began to work.
Yes.
In the shadows, in the back, helping the community, helping young people, so on and so forth. And just an insatiable desire to serve, man.
Wow.
I don't know how to put it any other kind of way.
No, that's an amazing story, bro.
Yeah. It's a lot crazier than what I mentioned, but that was the abridged version. I don't want to hog up the mic.
Wow. Okay. What about you, brother Leneus?
Repeat the question, please.
What what kind of made you pursue a position in local politics?
Very much like my colleague, Councilman Mustafa Brent. My family,
Okay.
My parents migrated to this country separately in the late 70s, came to East Orange, found their way in East Orange. They met at church, right there in East Orange on North Clinton and Main Street. And
Okay.
they were integral in creating opportunity and helping to create opportunities for, Creole-speaking people.
Okay.
And so I remember just us not having anything, not having much of anything. And I also remember them giving them people the shirts off their backs. I remember also serving in the church. I remember everything that they did to serve those who were in need. And I just remember watching in awe, especially my father, who's my role model, my idol.
Okay.
And so seeing him, I just always as a child wanted to be like him. I wanted to be, just like him. And I just remember him, my mother always saying, be better than him. And so, obviously I would never achieve that, but it is, a personal goal and chasing ghosts, as they say,
Right.
like Kobe Bryant always says. And so it's something that I live with every day. It's something that I try to, I try to emulate, everything that he did and who he was as a person, as a man,
Yes.
as a father. And so, that's something that me personally, that's drove me to this life of service, is watching my family participate in active community service as a young age. So
Great. Thank you for sharing that.
thank you, brother.
Brother, same question.
For me, this is my way of giving back to a city that's given me so much.
Okay.
Early on, there was some investments made.
Okay. Move the mic up a little bit.
In me, for my family.
Mhm.
My parents emigrated from Nigeria and made a
Okay.
decision. Originally born in Brooklyn, but they made a decision that, at that time, that wasn't the place to raise their kids.
Okay.
And so they moved us to East Orange at a young age. And East Orange, born and bred, went through all the schools, Jackson Academy, Tell the Truth, Whitney Houston, which is now, what was Franklin Elementary back then,
Okay.
Clifford J. Scott, Scotty Dog. But throughout me coming through East Orange, there's so many people that just invested in me and identified my gifts, identified my talent. And upon me finishing school, came back home to give back.
Yes, sir.
And made a commitment to serve. And so I taught, I mentored, I coached. And it's funny how God positions you, because all of those people that I encountered on my path are still here.
Yes.
And they're still making that investment. And I have the distinct honor of serving with them and working with them.
Right.
And so this is my way of giving back and, paying off and that investment, making sure that it's profitable.
Right.
And the only way I can make sure that's profitable is making sure that all the people of not only the Second Ward, but the city of East Orange profit off it as well. So.
Right. Well, listen, I want to thank you, brothers, for your service. Thank you, brothers, for your service. I've been to the city council meetings. I've been to some of the city council meetings, and I see, it's not easy. You know what I mean? It's not easy. You guys go back and forth, and sometimes, the residents come in, and sometimes they want answers like right now. You know what I mean? So with that said, like what has been some of the difficulties of being a council member. Tell it. We hear the good things. We see the good things that you guys are doing, but I know it's not an easy job. Is the schedule difficult? Is it difficult? Trying to balance different things like.
Well, I think we really
put us on. Put us on.
Yeah, in East Orange, we really operate as a family.
Good.
We're literally a family. We're brothers and sisters and uncles and aunties, and as with all families, sometimes there's a little bit dysfunction.
Right.
People have different ideas of how to get things done.
Okay.
There's different pathways to the same goal, and for us to actually hash all of that out, we do a great job of always being respectful of each other.
Good.
Again, we all have the same common goal, and that's why we're here.
Right.
All right, and we identify that early on that this is the same goals that we have, and we hash it out, we talk it out. A lot of the things that are issues, the residents expect immediate results, and so pleading for patience, right? And it takes a special individual because it takes foresight. All right, it takes foresight. It's a lot of strategy, and the moves we make now will affect and see changes, years down the line.
Yes.
And so helping people to understand that. I think that's been the toughest part for me. And thinking holistically in terms of sometimes you could put, it's easy to put a Band-Aid on it for now.
Right.
But that's not going to give you the overall effect of solutions. So just helping people to understand that,
Okay. All right. What about you, Brother Leneus? What the balance of being a council member and a father and everything that comes with it in terms of the work? Like how do you do it?
It's not easy.
Right.
It's just I've mastered the art of scheduling.
Okay.
I segment a lot of the things that they have to do throughout the day. And I'm very rigid and strict with my schedule. So I just have to, you kind of have to compartmentalize and do a lot of stuff. Otherwise, it can get away from you very quickly, because this life of service is not easy.
Right.
It's thankless, but it's rewarding, spiritually and emotionally for me, to see, my city, our city, growing in the direction that it's growing under this administration. Under our mayor and our current council and everyone involved, all the employees in the district and everything like that, working in collaboration. But the biggest thing for me is to scheduling.
Yes.
When someone says be there at 6, I'm not like the traditional Haitians. Like I say to all my Haitian people, we all know about Haitian time. We all know about Nigerian time. So
like CP time.
CP time. Yeah, I didn't want to say that one, but we all know about those things, and I'm not that person. If I say I'm gonna be there at 8, I'm there at 7:55.
Yes, sir.
And I just have to be that way because otherwise it can get away from you. So. I have 4 children that are very active, in their daily lives as well. And so to try to manage all of that is pretty difficult as well. Another difficult space for me and what I see is trying to change the narrative and change the mindset of a lot of the people that we work with.
Yes.
Because I think a lot of people are just used to one way. Well, I personally believe I bring a different perspective. And so we can all agree to disagree, but we have to get to the end goal. And so a lot of times, because people have disagreements, they just stop their progress in its tracks. And that doesn't benefit anyone, because at the end of the day, who's going to suffer?
Yes, sir.
The children, the seniors, the residents, the 65,000 residents of our city, a great city.
Yes.
And it doesn't make sense. So I'm progressive in nature. Our mayor is progressive in nature. Our city council is progressive in nature. And we need to all be on one accord in order to move this thing forward, because I don't want to look back 10, 15, 20 years from now and still talking about the same issues that we're talking about in 2019.
True.
It doesn't make sense. And personally and, assertively, I'm not going to stand for it. So
Good. Brother Muhammad, I need you to speak or excuse me, brother Mustafa.
That's fine, brother. Listen.
Hey, that's
You
God
see how
given.
they-
That's
That's a
God
stain.
given.
Listen. You see how they flinch, right?
No, you did.
So check this out. The funny thing is, I have two older brothers.
Yes.
One of them's name is Muhammad. The other
Right.
one's name is Mahmoud. My name is Mustafa. All my life, people call me Muhammad, and it's a tremendous
You didn't
honor
flinch.
because they are phenomenal people, and I
Yes,
can
sir.
only hope that one day I can walk in their shadow.
Yes,
They're both phenomenal people.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So is that I'm answering the same question?
No, what I want to get,
Okay.
I want to ask you, how do you maintain the mental, physical, and spiritual health?
Physical. Look at him.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
He's shaped like a he's shaped like a hoagie sandwich.
no, I see you getting it in, bro. I see you getting it in, and yeah, speak to how you maintain that mental, spiritual, and physical.
So
with,
one
with
thing-
everything that you do, because fireman, that's physically
Yeah.
and mentally.
So
So
one of the biggest things that I've had the challenge with since I've been on council, even serving in a public capacity, even when I was doing community outreach, was this scheduling, like Leneus said, but the times in which I would get injured at the job.
Oh.
Like that time in which I spoke about when I got burned. I was out for almost 6 months.
Wow.
That it was a couple times in 2017 when I got injured. Last year I had situation where I had some exhaustion or some issues. So how do I deal with that is an insatiable desire to keep going and serve.
Right.
I realized in my life that God gives us a certain bank of time, and we have to spend it as wisely as we can. And there's no guarantee for tomorrow.
Yes,
and
sir.
so there's some people that live for 100 years, and the only thing you can say for them is that they live for 100 years. And there's some people that live for 20, 24 years, like one of my good friends, Mujahid Henry, may God put light in his grave. He was an up-and-coming political personality, and it's like they lived for 200 years. My father, the same way, he died at 59. But when he passed away, he was small in stature, but he had a funeral procession that would resemble that of rock stars. And so it's about the content and the quality in which you live, not as so much as the time. And so we balance it by way of surrounding ourselves with phenomenal people. We balance it by way of that family that my brother Pullins spoke about from a communal standpoint.
Yes.
My brother Leneus, my brother Chris Awe, and all of my co-council members and the mayor as well, and the phenomenal organization. And I speak to that because one of the things that is very necessary and relevant in our organization is that everybody has a desire to serve.
Yes.
And every action is predicated on the sincerity to serve the people. And so I don't necessarily take the position of, we don't get along or we disagree. I take the position that there's a different point of view available, and I need to humble myself, which I always get to check. I always got to get checked because the passions and the drive, and I want to give so much, and I think it's going to turn out, but it always works out in the end because that we never lose sight and focus of that desire to serve. And so how do I balance it? Scheduling, like my brother Leneus said,
Yes.
but also where we fall short as individuals, the collective, the whole entirety of the body. From my wife, who Karima Williams is a phenomenal person. Hey, baby. And I got to shout her out.
Yes,
I
sir.
get that from my illustrious mayor, Ted Green. He always upstage us. And our chairman, Leroy Jones, as well. They always shout their wives out.
Yes, sir.
They live peaceful in the house. So, people like that, all of my family members, like I said, from a community standpoint, my co-counsel, and even from a job standpoint, working at the fire department, being surrounded around people who just want to give their all and serve their community.
Right.
And that's a blessing, man.
It is.
That's a blessing.
It is. It is. Got another question. I'm gonna just throw it out there and see who comes down with it. We got an important election coming up in 2020. What can we do in East Orange to engage that 18 to 30 group to kind of get to the polls and make sure that we do our part?
So I want to go in because I'm the oldest, bro.
That's why you want to go in?
I'm going because I'm the oldest, bro. I'm full of rank. This
Yeah,
is the first time in a long time. Never let them elaborate. I'm just going to be 2 minutes, though.
Right.
I think that one of the things that we're working on and what we've been phenomenal and achieving within our structure is that we engage all aspects of our community.
Yes.
Old, young, male, female, orientation, different religion. And so that's going to be key in creating a diverse narrative that represents the whole collective of our community. And when you do that, you have allowed people to exist within their own space, but have access to the conversation and to be engaged and to be involved. And there are people out there, man, in the community, not just East Orange, but throughout our nation, that are eager for change in a positive way.
Yes.
It's just that we have the platform, we have to promote that ideal, and we have to engage them in a conversation that allows them to understand that, yes, we're here to serve, but we need you to serve right along with us. And there's in today's time, because of globalization and having access to national and international platforms and stages, there's no real distinction between young and old. It's about those who desire to be in the forefront and those who desire to be, just to, to augment all of the things that are transpiring. And so I think one of the things that we can do, what we have been doing, is just engage them, having conversation, addressing them on their level. Facebook Live, IG.
Yes.
Like, I know my brother Leneus and brother Chris Awe, if you go on their Facebook page and their Instagram pages, and my brother Vernon as well, all of my council colleagues, to be honest, and the mayor especially.
Yeah.
Even my good brother Mustafa and Justin as well.
Yes.
You see pictures of them in the community.
Absolutely.
You see them engaged in the narrative and creating the memories that are going to have the longevity.
Yes.
As it pertains to establishing a precedent within our city and within our state that lets people know that, yes, we're here to serve and we're going to be here for a while serving our community. We need y'all to join us so we can have some longevity and create a legacy that is profound.
Yes, sir.
I know for me, I'm always going to talk from the education standpoint.
Okay.
So, as my role as an educator, and a lot of times we need to just educate our community.
Yes.
And so first is the understanding that all politics is local, and understand the trickle-down effect of everything that's happening from D.C. or internationally and how it affects us right here in East Orange.
Right.
And so I'm always going to try to communicate that and educate our community on that. We have a really uncanny ability in our community to bridge gaps, right? Among my colleagues on council, bridging the gap between gender, right, male, female, and bridging the gap between generations, and even socio-economic class, right, renters and homeowners, and so on and so forth, and bringing everyone to the table to have that conversation. A lot of times it's just that. And so as Mustafa just alluded to, seeing us on the ground.
Right.
Our community is, like I said, we're a big family. And so we see each other in the supermarkets. We see each other in the games. We see each other's walking the streets. We commute together, so on and so forth. And it's a beautiful opportunity for us to have common ground in that we walk these same streets and to have these conversations. But for me, the biggest part is the education standpoint and letting people understand that everything is local and it definitely does trickle down. Right. And that's how we get to engage. Me, myself, my personal example, I was brought into this young, really young.
Right.
And so that's another aspect in terms of identifying talent. My colleagues, the mayor, the administration do a really good job of touching base with our youth and identifying the talent really early.
Yes.
We're in the schools weekly, for whatever activities. We have good roundtables with our youth, right? And so as he alluded to earlier, making sure that they actually do have a voice. In our organization now, you'll see us Saturday mornings with our older, more seasoned veterans and high school kids and middle school kids.
That's right.
Berg makes sure he brings his daughters. I had the privilege and the pleasure of teaching them. Mm-hmm. And so when we talk about that family aspect, right, I'm Uncle Awe. Mm-hmm. I'm not Councilman Awe, I'm Uncle Awe, right, to them, right? And we can have that conversation about, I heard this on the news.
Yes.
How's this affecting me? And we can break that down. So yes. I think we really leverage the relationships we have of our community. We relate, the bridges that we have and all these common spaces that we have to have these conversations. So.
Right. All right, Brother Leneus, I want to speak to you about health is wealth. Mm. All right? Because, when you were first elected, there was a lot of things that you were pushing in our community about just really getting healthy. Speak to your journey, in terms of the Third Ward and what you were doing, and during the evenings in our local Elmwood Park.
Big Sexy.
AKA Slim Goody, AKA
It's just sexy now, please.
That's it. No more big, just sexy.
Just sexy. See that?
Yeah, we retired the big.
Yes, sir.
Nah, just it's a great question. Oh, I apologize. Oh, the voice in the ears. Okay. So, this big brother, you guys don't hear it, but So, in 2017, I was tipping the scales at about 375 pounds. I wasn't feeling well.
Okay.
I just didn't feel right. Something was going on with me. I went to visit my doctor. I did a urinalysis. Doctor said, I'm a little graphic, but I apologize. But
It's all good.
just listen to the message. Don't listen to
No,
the details, right?
brothers, listen.
Right.
Listen to what he's saying.
So tipping the scales at about roughly 375 pounds. I went to the doctor, did a urinalysis. I had about 300 grams of sugar in my urine. So my first question is, Doc, how many grams am I supposed to have in my urine? And the doctor was like 0. And he was like, you're pissing sugar, and you're urinating sugar. And I remember just being super scared. I then followed up with my primary care physician who basically challenged me, and said to me, and I'll never forget these words, which one of your children is going to read your eulogy? And anybody who knows me knows I'm about my babies, like, to the core. They are my soul. They're the air I breathe. They're everything for me. And when I guess she had to say something that would resonate with me, because just saying, oh, you need to lose weight probably wouldn't resonate with me.
Right.
But the thought of losing my children, my babies, leaving them here on this earth fatherless, it devastated me, and it forced me to act. So I remember I went home. I immediately threw out all the junk food in my house, and I said, no more, not me. I talked to, a friend of mine, gave me some advice, encouraged me. And I remember from that day forward, I never looked back. And I'm proud to say I lost over 160 pounds.
Goodness gracious.
No surgery, no pills, no crash diets, just dedication, consistency, hard work, and sacrifice.
Now he's
And
being
so-
humble too, because he did a whole community with him. He
That's
took
what
a
I'm.
whole
That's what I'm
community
getting at.
That's right.
That's what I want to
with
get
him on
at.
his
I'm
journey.
getting
He took
there.
the
That's what I
whole
want to get
third
at.
ward.
He had me dancing in the park.
Right.
Let the beat
Had
build.
me feeling guilty driving by the park. Seeing him in there, I'm like,
Let the beat build. Let the beat build.
yes, sir.
So I just, I just remember, there's a African proverb that says it's easier to fix broken children than to repair broken men. And so that is my mantra. And so I started from, young children, and I preach health is wealth. And I preach the fact that you have to exercise, eat healthy, and just live life, and try to remain in stress-free environment and just live life. And so we created a couple of projects in the city with regard to it's called Moving and Grooving. It's a walk program that took place last spring, and basically went through the summer. And it was originally supposed to be 2 6-week sessions. We did 4 6-week sessions because of the demand. And every Tuesday and Thursday, you would go out there to Elmwood Park, and you would see roughly 50 to 60 people out there walking with me.
That's right.
Because there's a need. People see it. And if I can be that vessel, if I can be that conduit for people to make that change, and that's what I'm going to do. And, people ask me, I post a lot of pictures, follow me, Councilman Leneus on Instagram, and Councilman Bergson Leneus on Facebook. People say, why you post so many pictures? And I always say, if I can just change one person,
That's
if
right.
I can change anyone, someone, and motivate them and show them that I had the worst of the worst eating habits, I had the worst of the worst diet, I had the worst of the worst non-exercise habits, and if I can help and change anybody, even one person, then I've served my mission. So.
Now he's talking about moving, grooving in the park. Now there goes another venue where connecting
Yes.
different classes of people, the youth, the adults, the elderly, the young, male, female, different socioeconomic class, and literally just walk and talk.
Yes.
about anything.
That's right.
It was, and it's a beautiful movement.
That's right.
Yes.
And like he said, like Councilman always said, engage the citizens, because there are people who lived in the 3rd Ward, 4th Ward, 5th Ward, 1st Ward, who just wanted to be out there to walk.
Right.
And they have something to say. And so they could feel me, touch me, Councilwoman Thomas, feel her, touch her. And it was just, the movement was real. And, we're going to start back up on May 7th.
Okay. May 7th.
May 7th. First 100 people will get a T-shirt. So come on out there. I'm expecting like 100 people out there.
All right.
So, come on out. The park is vibrant. The park is live.
It's beautiful.
It's one of our natural resources in the city of East Orange. We have roughly 7 or 8 beautiful parks in the city of East Orange in every ward.
Yes.
I encourage everyone to get out there, get active. Do not stay home. Go out there to the park, breathe that fresh air, and do your thing.
That's what's up. That's what's up. May 7th.
May 7th. I'm
Yes,
about
sir.
to gain 50 pounds just so I can join the club.
And I just want to add, not only is physical health important, but mental health is important.
Yes.
So we're going to do the remix. We're going to add a comedic yoga component as well.
Whoa.
So be on the lookout. It's going to be...
Yes, sir. That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. I mean, that right there, just giving the folks an opportunity to get at you. You know what I mean? To speak to you, see
They
you.
know where to find me.
Absolutely.
I ain't hard to find. I'll tell you that much.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, I want to give you guys an opportunity before we go to just if there's any message that you want to put out there to your ward or anything that you'd like to say. I want to give you guys the floor for a minute. We start with Brother Mustafa.
Yes, thank you, Brother Jay. I just want to give a shout out to my family, my loved ones. My son wanted to come with me. He was here with me last
Yes,
time.
sir.
But he had some of his friends come over, and they were, going doing it. Actually working on trying to start a new business. So
Okay.
that's a beautiful thing.
Yes, sir.
16-year-old thinking on those lines. So I just want to let everybody know a quick plug. We have a fundraiser coming up next Thursday on the 25th at Bella Italia, 6 to 9. Come out, join,
Yes,
join. Good networking, food, and friends. Also, we have a debate coming up on the 22nd in the 5th Ward. You go on my Facebook page to find out the exact address. The time is going to be from 7 to 8. I just want to thank the President's Rights Community Association for changing the time. They originally had it earlier than that, but, we have a city council meeting on that day.
Okay.
So they afforded me opportunity to change the time. And just tell the people in the 5th Ward, man, the beautiful things that you see transpiring in the city is a collective effort from city government, our leader, Mayor Ted Green, on down to city council. But the main component, as my brother Vernon said earlier, is the people.
Yes.
We can't do anything without the people. We need you guys to get out and vote. Vote passionately about the progress that you see within our city, and let's keep moving our agenda forward, man. We have phenomenal things that we were able to transpire in my first term. We have some beautiful things that's going to be coming up down the pike. We have the school that's going to be opening up in 2020.
Okay.
And I just want to touch on that right quick because myself and my brother Bergson, Leneus, a lot of people don't know, at the time we were possibly the 2 youngest African American males occupying this position of president and vice president of one of the major school boards within the city, of the state of New Jersey, specifically and possibly throughout the state. And usually we walked in a room, we were 9 times out of 10 the youngest people there.
Okay.
He was big sexy and I was a little funny. but we made it work.
Yes, sir.
And so I'm very happy about that. We have some phenomenal things that are going on. I don't want to hog the entire mic, but remember, June 4th is an important day. You have to get in the race if you want to make it to the finish line, and only we can write the narrative that's going to truly tell our story for future generations, my children, your children. Let's keep the momentum going, man, and let's not be bogged down with the negativity. Always tell people, if you don't have anything positive to say about the city that you've been living in your whole life, then that's not an issue with the city. That's an issue with the narrative of the person that's speaking it.
Hello.
And so we're moving forward. I'm just impressed with the people I'm around, man.
Yes, sir.
I'm around some young, dynamic, phenomenal people, and I have a lot of good mentors, like my brother Vernon Pullins, like the mayor, like my co-counsel Alicia Holman, like Amy Lewis, all of them, man. We're working, man, and I'm just excited because, I was telling somebody the other day, and I'm gonna end with this. I look at East Orange as like the old, prophetic city of El Dorado. We have all of the gold and all of the precious resources needed to be the greatest city on the East Coast. And with this momentum that we're going, the constitution of people that the chairman has put together, we're going to move this city forward. And I'm blessed to be a part of this team, this family.
Yes, sir. Brother.
First off, I want to thank you for the invitation to be here.
I appreciate you, brother.
I'm excited. I'm super excited. I'm just as excited as Mustafa, if not more. Considering that I came up in the city and know where it came from. The team that we have is by far phenomenal, second to none. And just as he said, city of El Dorado, right? It's the Phoenix rising. There's, we on the rise. East Orange is on the rise. And it's with the help of the people and the talent that we have in it. And that's the beautiful thing, where we actually have the power to control our destiny. It's not someone else coming in telling us what to do, but it's what we want to do.
That's right.
And it's a beautiful thing. And so, I'm humbled and glad to be in this position to serve. I want to give a shout out to my parents, Evangelist and Lady Evangelist Howard. No, seriously, because I stand on their shoulders, and for the foresight that they had. Let me tell you, those two people, as well as all the other people that poured into me, they saw something and they made sure that investment is carrying out. And so, they made that commitment and said, we're going to, raise our kids here. We're going to put them in the public schools, even if they had the opportunity to put us in private schools. Right. And it's, and it's their work ethic that I stand on, and all the work ethic of all my mentors that seen me come up. So I'm thankful to them. And for me to be in a position to serve is humbling. Yes, sir. But it's a great opportunity. And so I'm excited about all the great work that we've been doing and all the great work we're going to do. So I want to give a shout out to all my council colleagues, in particular Jackie Johnson, who served as a mentor for me, and she's retiring this term after 20 years of distinctive service. And we call her the conscience of council. And all the jewels that she's dropped, as well as Quilla Talmadge, who's also retiring, Chris James, Amy Lewis, that's Auntie Amy. Okay. We have Vernon, who's hopefully going to be joining. We're going to work our tail off to make sure he joins us.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
We have, Kasim, Brother Kasim.
Yes, shout out Kasim Gomez.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Alicia, Mighty Fifth, has always been holding down the Mighty Fifth, and Mustafa as well. And, with the future, with Brittany Claybrooks, who's, working to be my council partner. And she's about to take my place as the youngest person on council, God willing. Okay. Again, a beautiful way to see the gap being bridged. So I'm excited. But we out here working for you guys, and just blessed.
Good. Brother Leneus, any words?
Yes. Just simply put, I just want to say thank you to you for allowing us this opportunity to discuss our platforms, various platforms. But one thing that's common and that you can hear, is that we all work together, we all respect each other. Yes, sir. And we all appreciative of each other's efforts. I am humbled, again, to be up here with you, because I remember when you started the program and you texted me, you were just so super excited. So, to see it progressing and to see all of the promo and to see the whole setup is dope. And, I'm really appreciative and proud of you. I want to say thank you to the city of East Orange for affording us and allowing us the opportunity to serve in this capacity. I don't take it lightly. I made a promise to myself, to my family, to my city, that I was always going to give 100%. I was never going to take my foot off the gas. And God willing, that's what we've been doing, in the great city of East Orange. And I will continue. I'm a man. I'm flesh and bone. Yes, sir. But my spirit is strong. And when I leave this place, I hope to, leave a legacy for my children, your children. Yes, sir. Councilman Iowa's children, my brother, Councilman Brent's children. Everybody's children, Not that I know.
I'm working on it.
Keep wanting to cut. That's the mentor of mentors.
Don't let Mr. and Mrs. Iowa hear that. They've been getting on me about that.
But what you see and what you feel is authenticity for me. Yes, sir. And that's all I can do. We have a couple of events coming up that I'm hoping that your listeners and IG and all my council colleagues, listeners who are watching and listening, On April 30th, no, April 27th, we have the unveiling of a pop-up library, the Project Flow Library.
Okay.
We did a book drive that started on February 27th through April 5th, and we received well over 2,000 books.
Wow.
From the local community. And when I tell you mind blown is mind blown. We have books for years, and we're going to take advantage of that. We're going to take advantage of the project. My colleagues and I, we work on that. East Orange School District, Miss Christina Jaquez and April Hart, and the campus high schools SGA, amazing.
Okay.
And so we have that coming up on the 27th, so hopefully everyone can come out. It's going to be an amazing event. On the 30th, we have the first ever Haitian Community Forum.
Okay.
For those who speak Creole, you're gonna rock that out.
That's
I expect to see at least 1,000 Haitians in the building.
That's
so
big.
come on out, please. May 4th, we have another event, the Kentucky Derby event that we hope people can come out to.
Okay.
The objective and the goal, we're going to sponsor children, middle school children, to attend summer camp, and that's a goal. And the May 17th, we have the Haitian flag raising.
Yes, sir.
So, it was big last year, but it's going to be bigger this year.
Okay.
And I'm expecting everyone to come out. And again, there's more events. Follow me on Councilman Leneus, and you'll see all of them coming on and see me posting. But thank you again, brother. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to Councilman Talmadge. I love you guys. Love my city. Love my friends. Love my family. I love everybody. Peace.
I love you, homie.
Yes, sir. What I want to do is I want to send a huge shout out to Mayor Ted Green.
Indeed.
That brother's always out there in the streets working.
Rolls up his sleeves for
Yes,
real.
sir. Absolutely. He's
For real.
definitely a motivation. I also want to thank all of the other folks in East Orange that just give their time and that are in public service. You guys, you give your all. I see you. In the streets. I see you in the schools. I see you in the community events, and I want to extend an invitation to all of them, to at one point come in, and so we can highlight the different things that they're doing, on their blocks and in the awards. I just want to say before we go, thank you all again. And one of the reasons why I decided to change the format, of the show, everybody knows it was a sports podcast, but I really just felt like it was important to highlight the people that are doing the work in our communities. So much, and I keep going back to the Nipsey Hussle situation, and to me, it's just so much was said after he was gone. You know what I mean? So much was said after he was gone. I want to take this platform to let you brothers shine. You know what I mean? To let the people in the community that are doing the work shine while they walking on this planet. You know what I mean? We want to show you the respect and the love and help to continue to push you guys forward while you're here.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And with that being said, I want the other brothers to come in here. Brother Pullins, and I just want to put everybody on camera again so they could see,
JB,
what this looks
man.
like.
Come on in.
Come on in.
Coach Mustafa.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Muzamil from behind the camera.
Now, when you think of politics, don't think about the old school politics. Politics can have swag. Politics can be young.
Exactly.
Politicians can be fly. These brothers are vibrant. They're in the communities. They're role models. They're mentors. We are controlling the narrative. Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right, this is Jerry Bishop's Live. We signing out. Shout out to my children and my lovely wife and my church. Love you guys. Peace.
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 One love.